So I've been seeing this comment a lot recently. It seems like whenever I post one of these videos, I always, and I mean always, get asked, hello, my name is Terrence Reynolds, and I've been living in Japan for about 10 years now, and I work here as a software engineer. And whenever I make that statement, yes, that one, someone is going to open up the comment section, they're begin to write, yo, this guy's been living in Japan for about 10 years now. He must be fluent at Japanese. Well, I hate to break it to you, dude. I am not good at Japanese at all. I mean, I could barely speak it. My Japanese is survival level at best. I feel like if you were to download a language learning app and practice for 1 hour a day for 3 months straight, your Japanese speaking ability would be just as good as mine. And yet still, I've had a very successful career here in Japan so far. And I know what you're thinking, wow, if this guy's been living in Japan for about a decade now, he has a career here, well, why haven't he learned Japanese? What is it like to live in Japan and not speak Japanese? And could I do what this guy is doing and move to Japan and not speak Japanese myself? And I'm going to answer all 3 of those questions for you, with the first one being, why haven't I learned Japanese yet? And I would tell you, and to be honest, it's not to say that I haven't tried. I've tried multiple times to learn Japanese while being here, but each and every time, something always got in the way. The first one being when I first moved here. When I came here as an English teacher, all of my peers, they all knew how to speak Japanese. They either minored or majored in it. They always knew that they were gonna move to Japan after college. That wasn't me. I came here on a whim. I just wanted to live abroad, and Japan was the easiest place to get a visa at, so I didn't know the language ability yet. I knew that I can probably build a career here too. It's just gonna take a little bit of tenacity. So I began to look for like software engineering jobs because I was passionate about it. And during that time period, I was studying Japanese at a local community center. But as I started to realize like, yo, I don't need to speak Japanese to become a software engineer. And many of the careers here, you don't have to speak the language at all, especially in tech. I quickly dropped those Japanese classes at that community center to strictly focus on teaching myself how to code in the countryside of Japan. And within about a year's time, I landed my first job as a software engineer. And from there, the rest is history. I got my first job. A couple years later, I got my second job. I think during my second job, I started to learn Japanese again because I felt like pretty stable in my career so far. But I gotta be honest, I started taking online classes and it just didn't feel right for me. I didn't feel motivated. I didn't feel excited to learn again. And ultimately, it kind of felt like taking college courses again. And I felt completely past that during that time period in my life. So I dropped it and years went by. Up until last year, where I decided to learn Japanese one more time. This time I was serious. I made it my New Year's resolution to learn Japanese. I signed up for Japanese classes and I started going not 1, 2, but 3 and 4 times a week. And I did it for a couple of months straight, and then my health took a turn for the worse and I could not focus on Japanese at the time. And then ultimately I couldn't catch up with the class, so it became a struggle for me. And eventually I dropped out again. And now we're here with me making YouTube videos. And I think the reason why I haven't went back to Japanese class, to be quite honest, was I don't know, man. I just don't feel passionate about learning the language. I mean, I respect it. I love the culture. It's pretty cool. But the idea of sitting around language learning when I have all these dreams and all these goals that are just sitting right here, I can't imagine putting them to the side. So right now I'm kind of pursuing this YouTube thing. And maybe sometime in the future, I'm going to make a video. After 20 years, I've finally learned Japanese. Please stay tuned and subscribe to the channel. The second part of this video, which is, what is it like to live in Japan and not speak Japanese? I feel like an expert at this topic because I've been living here this entire time and I haven't been able to speak the language. And sometimes it can feel like you're a kid. It can feel like when you live and you operate throughout your daily life, you're effectively illiterate inside of a country. You're an adult who cannot have a basic conversation or communicate exactly how you feel. Even if the person that you're speaking to sort of speak Japanese and English at the same time and it could translate for you, at best it kind of feels like they're only interpreting 50% of what I'm saying, because so much of native English speaking is nuance based. There's metaphors, there's this feeling that can't be captured from this point A to point B translation. It can be very difficult. And I feel like I live my life mostly misunderstood whenever I'm dealing with, let's say, for example, the hospital visits, going to city hall, speaking to an accountant, etc. Sort of things like that, like those little administrative tasks of adult life. It can be very difficult to not speak the language. On the social side of it, my life is pretty good here. Most of my friends are foreigner. My girlfriend, she's a foreigner as well. And my Japanese friends, they all speak English. In Tokyo, it can be very easy to find a foreign community here. You can feel right at home here, even though throughout the day to day, it can be a little bit weird if I don't see any of my friends. I effectively don't talk to anybody. And that can be isolating at times. And Tokyo can feel quite like a lonely place. I actually made a video on why Tokyo is a lonely place. I think you guys should check it out. But during my work week, when I'm not seeing friends and I'm working at home and I'm just going to the grocery store and going to the gym, that basic sense of communication between just two people is completely stripped away, and it can feel very isolating. It can feel like I'm living life and I'm looking through a glass panel at times. And I would tell you that can be one of the worst parts of not speaking the language. And it does sit in the back of my head when I sit and I think, wow, I plan on being here for the long term. If I really want to get this small sense of anxiety that just carries with me throughout the days since I've been here, I probably should learn Japanese. But for the most part, my life is normal. I feel like I live an ordinary life. Maybe I'm used to it. Maybe I'm that frog inside of a pot that's like slowly boiling. I'm just used to like the water temperature right now. Who knows? But I'm kind of good at this point. My only fear, I have two fears. My only fears, and I have just two of them. It's one, getting sick. I've been sick before, and having to go and navigate throughout the hospital system here can be very difficult if you can't speak the language, and that is something that I don't want to recommend for people. And the second one is that if I ever have a family here, I know that's when I have to take things serious and I actually have to learn Japanese, because my lack of speaking ability won't just impact me, but can impact my future family as well. And I don't want that to happen. So those are my only two fears when it comes to not speaking the language. Still, it's not enough to motivate me, because just like anybody else who's watching this video, whether you're from America, Africa, or Asia somewhere, I have dreams too. And the idea of sitting inside of a classroom and practicing thousands of kanji every single day while I defer my dreams is not something that I'm interested in. And right now, I want to focus on building out this YouTube channel and working on my own app ideas on the side. And once I feel like I hit a successful milestone in both of these accomplishments, then maybe I'll consider learning Japanese sometime in the near future, or if I have a kid, like I said before earlier in the video. So if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, man, could I do the same as this guy? And I'm gonna be honest with you, whether or not I recommend you to learn Japanese or not will depend strictly on what you're attempting to do. If you're trying to get a traditional business role here, it'll probably behoove you to learn Japanese, whether it's accounting, marketing, etc. Those are sorts of jobs where you have to talk to other Japanese people and you have to communicate with them effectively. But if you're working in product, if you're working in tech, that is where it can be a little bit more lenient. You see, programmers, product managers, in some cases rather, and designers, you're not always required to learn Japanese, especially if it's for a multinational company. And I know that to be a fact because I work for one of them, and I have worked for other companies in the past where majority of my coworkers on the product team did not speak Japanese. And that's where it exists in tech. And I've also met other friends who work as a journalist here, and they don't speak the language either because they write maybe articles for an American or English speaking audience. What I'm trying to say is this: there's tons of opportunities here if you really create a pathway for yourself. And if you're one of those people who qualify for those opportunities, I think you should pursue it and do the research. Try to figure out beyond what just people tell you, which is a general advice to learn Japanese, on whether or not you actually require it. And maybe I might actually do a video on how to find a job here in Japan, so I can like maybe give you my own insights on whether or not you should learn Japanese. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. This has been my video on like why haven't I learned Japanese. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video, and peace.